Well guys, we got another project bicycle for us today. This one is a Haro F2C series. Of course, it's what some people would call a trick bike or a freestyle bike. Has the gyro up front here on the stem, as well as it doesn't have any pegs, but I've got a set kicking around I'm sure would fit. It looked like at one time it probably had them. Just giving her over first glance here, and you can see she's got a flat tire. Looks like someone's kinda might have an issue with a little rubber liner. If you look inside there, you can see cracks. The liner itself is probably ripped, which made the spokes puncture the tube. And you know, other than some little condition issues like having to slide the grips back and a few things like that, might have a bearing issue in the bottom bracket there, but hey, it's a used bike, right? So guys, let's slap her up in the stand and see how she goes. So yeah, get her in there, tighten her on down, and she's pretty much good to go. And of course, giving her a bit of a once-over look, you do notice the front brakes are missing. So really, it can no longer be ridden like a stunt bike or a freestyle bike. I don't believe I have any of those brakes kicking around in my collection. But, you know, whatever's, I guess. Sometimes here in the bottom bracket, sometimes it's something simple like it's just loose, or sometimes you get into them and they end up needing all new bearings. Of course, this one here could go either way. So guys, we'll start by probably tearing this apart first and finding out what's up with those. And if it needs bearings, then I'll have to set it aside because I don't have any of those currently anyway. So guys, let's get at her. So guys, while we're waiting for the WD-40 to soak into the pedal there so I can have a look at the crank, we'll start fixing the flat on this rear tire. And even if the bike itself is too far gone to fix, you know, meaning if it needs bearings and I decide not to fix it, I can use this rim, or these rims anyways, on another bike. So really, either way, it is not really a loss. But yeah, I've got another one downstairs. It's not a Haro, it's another brand name. I don't really recognize it, but doesn't mean it's you know. But the rims themselves are bent, both of them, as well as it needs paint on the handlebars, which those ones there would work good on. So pretty much to take a back tire off a bike like this, you loosen the axle nuts or wheel nuts, slide it forward so the chain is all slack. And then on some bikes you need to loosen this the brake cable so you can get the you know, tire out from under it. But because this tire's flat, we don't need to right now anyway. So pretty much, like I said, you push it forward, flip the chain off of the you know, sprocket at the front, and you just pull back, and she drops down just like that. So yeah guys, I'll tear this tire off this rim and we'll see what's up. Well guys, as you can see, I got the tube off the rim. It is fairly straight. There's a very, very slight wobble to it, but hey, it's good enough. It's one of the better ones that I got in my collection. And as you can see here, the liner is a little bit cracked or rotten or weathered. You know, some chunks missing. Somebody's taped it at one time with, not quite sure what it is, duct tape or something, or some type of similar. Unfortunately, in my collection, I do not have a spare one of these. so. So yeah, we're going to use the next best thing, which of course is electrical tape. So pretty much you just wrap the tape around the band itself, kind of like how you trying to duplicate the rubber band. I know this ain't the right way to do it. You probably should replace it with another one. That's providing you have one in your collection. But when you don't, you got to make do. I've ran this method on my tires, my rims, and I've never had a wear through where the spokes have worn through, or I've ever had a flat resulting in from something puncturing the tape coming in from the back side. It's always in from the tread side. So yeah, guys, let's get this rim wrapped, and then we'll put the tire back on. Well, there you go, guys. I got the tire, or the rim, all wrapped in electrical tape. I know, like I said, it's kind of a redneck method, but hey, it works good enough. What I've done is I've done a wrap 3 times around the tire. Always double up or triple up if in doubt. So now what I do is you're going to need to do is locate where the hole for the tube or the stem comes out of, and you need to poke a hole through the electrical tape so you can put air in the tire. So yeah, you locate her, and then pretty much you just stab her in, stab her through, and pretty much just cut her out. Kind of like that, guys. So now we'll go over and we'll examine the tube, see if we can find any patches in it, because obviously he must have had it apart. And one thing I'll say is this tube sure is a thick tube. Definitely worth patching or saving. And I've already located the offending hole, which is right there. And of course the offending hole is on the side of the tire that the tread is on. So in that case, you're going to want to search the tire itself for any glass shards or anything that punctured this for originally. So guys, what I'll do is I'll search this out, and probably catch you when I go to put it all back together. So guys, what I've done is I've inserted the tube back through the valve stem hole. And for an easy way of doing it, just put the cap back on for now. It works. So pretty much what you want to do is you want to work this lip of the tire back over the edge of the rim. And yeah, sometimes it's a doozy, sometimes it takes a bit of a while, but it can be done. Sometimes you can get away with using your hands. And sometimes if you're really careful, you can use a screwdriver. I don't recommend it because you run the risk of puncturing the tube. So you buy these little quick sticks or tire change sticks, and it's always worked for me. So there you go. As you see here all the way around, we have that first lip of the tire over the edge of the rim. And then we'll just start working on the last edge here. Again, getting it up over top of the rim, basically like that. And now she's ready for air. So yeah, pretty much once you got the tire and tube changed over, back on the rim and kind of semi-inflated, of course, install it back on the bike. Just leaving, on this particular bike, we'll leave the wheel nuts just finger tight. Mainly because we've got to pull the crank out and see what's up with that. Or else what I would do is put the chain on the front ring again, and as well on the back, and give it a bit of a pull. Not too tight, but not too loose, or else she'll fall back off. And then that's when you tighten your nuts completely. So guys, we'll take our wrench and we'll just give this pedal a bit of a loosen, and we'll see what's going on the inside of the cranks. So we'll see what's going on with the bearings. Okay guys, I wrestled off that pedal. The pedal was loose actually, so I think someone at one point tried to fix this, or changed out the pedals or something like that and didn't tighten them. So basically, I've loosened off this nut. She's pretty much ready to come off. This is what I call your final tightening nut. And next we have a little flat washer with a little, groove in it here. And then you have your set, what I call a set nut. I don't know the technical name. I don't know the technical name for it, but just unscrews, slide her up on in. She's pretty much ready to come off. Of course, if your bearings are trashed, prepare to be picking up about 30 pieces, because the cage will come out in like 3 pieces and the bearings will come out all individually. So now pretty much what you do is you just tilt the whole assembly on an angle, and she'll lift right out. We'll slide this bearing off. Upon close inspection of this side, it looks like she's okay. There's a weird little plastic thingy, must be like a dust cover or something. So we'll put this somewhere where she's not going to get too dirty. So yeah, pretty much you just lift and she comes right out. And there you go. Upon inspection of the other side, it's looking good as well. There is some wear here, and they are a little bit loose, but they don't look like they're garbage. Somebody at one point might have had this apart and greased it, because I see about 2 different colors of grease going on there, but you never know. Of course, while you're in here, while you got it apart, you might as well have a look to see if there's any damage or any chunks inside the bearing cups or the races right inside here. Without wiping it clean, I don't really have any grease to re-grease it, but without wiping it out and making it clean, it looks okay. So I'll give a check to the other side, and if she looks okay, then I'll put her back together. Well guys, after you've got this little, what I call a pre-tighten bearing race, or whatever you want to call her in there, cup, you want to make sure she's tight enough that there isn't play, but you want to make sure she's not tight enough that she's binding at all. So pretty much now what you do is you take your little washer here, paying attention to a groove that's going to be on the back side of the arm right there, and pretty much sliding the groove into the little keyway, and there you go. And then you take your nut and you put your nut back on, and pretty much you just give her a tighten down. And one thing I found with this is when you are tightening this, you're going to want to turn to tighten it, and what I find is by you turning, as you get down in the lower part of the threads, the nut friction is going to want to make this your first bearing race tighten down, which then will make it tighten too much. So what I do is I leave this one slightly loose and tighten her down, and then give her a tap with a flat screwdriver, which seems to like set it. And it takes a little bit, but you can get it where she needs to be. You can get her all just so. So guys, I'll get this tightened down and I'll check back in. So guys, now we got the bearing issue took care of. It was nothing major. We can put the chain back on. So yeah, like I said, you flip her on over top here. Just give the pedals a gentle turn, and of course it should all track fine. And then what I do is I pull back on the back wheel, which as you see here will tighten that chain, kind of like that. And then you give the nut a tighten down. Now you're going to want to tighten both sides of the wheel equally, and make sure the rim itself is centered in the, between of the frame here. or else your brakes and stuff, you'll have a pain trying to set them and they won't work properly. But yeah, let's get her all tightened down and then we'll readjust the brakes. Well guys, there you go. We're sitting at like almost 20 minutes or so for this video. So yeah, that's pretty much what I done here is, like you've seen, slap the back wheel back on, make sure everything was tight in the crank or bearing area. Adjusted the points on the brakes, make sure everything was, you know, working correctly. And yeah, she's pretty much good to go to a new home or whatever's, right? One thing I like about this bike is this seat must have been changed just shortly before I got it, because it's almost mint shape, hasn't seen a lot of, you know, scuffs or nothing. But one thing I did notice is someone has done some painting on this bike. If you notice, there's some black paint here, there's some touch-up going on there, as well as back in here. Obviously at one time it must have been pretty chipped up and someone did a quick paint on it to sell it. But hey, you know, whatever, I suppose. Well guys, that's pretty much been a fixed flat tire and fixed bearing issue and give tune-up of a Haro F2C series 20-inch bike. So guys, as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's World. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.